How's it going, everyone? Thanks for stopping by the channel. It's Moodog from Moodog's Frugal RCs. We're in the research kitchen today having a quick look at the Brave 122 scale Desert Buggy by Subotech. Subotech is a company that is kind of near and dear to my heart in that my first ever RC vehicle, ground vehicle, was a Subotech vehicle. Is a Subotech vehicle. I still own it. It's a 122 scale monster truck. I featured it on my channel some time ago. I may revisit that and do a better review on that going forward. But what we're looking at today, guys, is a kind of diminutive size indoor outdoor type of vehicle. Now for indoors, you're going to need a pretty good space because this thing zips along pretty good. Taking a look at the box, guys, nothing really too earth-shattering, really cool about it. It gives you basic information on the vehicle. This one does have just friction shocks, full ball bearings all the way through, high-speed 180 size brushed motor, high-capacity lithium ion cell battery, and then rubber tires with a foam insert in them. Pretty cool to see that. This is a picture here showing the underside of the vehicle without the body attached, so pretty cool on that, guys. All right, guys, on this side of the box, it's just showing the vehicle in the color scheme that we're going to be looking at today. This does have operating headlights on it as well, so it's kind of cool. But we're looking at all the features of this vehicle on the bottom. Again, 122 scale, 2.4 gigahertz radio controller. We have a 4x4 system on this, so it is four-wheel drive. This is a ready-to-run pack, guys, so basically all you have to do is add the 3 AA batteries to the transmitter and you're off to the races. This is going to include a 7.4 volt 650 milliamp per hour lithium ion cell pack, friction shocks on this one, and then it has a fully proportional steering servo, so kind of cool on that. The other variant of this vehicle obviously is black here. They also have a silver, but all the same pretty much on the internals. I have a claimed speed of 40 plus kilometers per hour. That's kind of questionable. We'll have to check that out going forward in the future sometime, but that's kind of the other variant of this vehicle. Transmitter on this, guys, giving you some basic information on the functionality of that, and we'll take a closer look at that once we get this out of the box. All right, guys, first thing we're going to find is our operation manual here. Gives you kind of some information that we just went through on the bottom here, and it's a nice size glossy stock, kind of heavy feeling paper. They are mixing Chinese with English here, so we have to pick out our language. I haven't done any proofreading on this one as of yet, so I can't attest to the Chinese to English translation, but if the pictures tell a story here, and I think we should be okay with figuring this one out. So all the information you need to go from the box to dirt or box to pavement is going to be right in here. How to operate the vehicle, how to load batteries, how to charge them, that type of thing, all included in these pages. Farther back we're going to see we have some exploded view drawings along with corresponding part numbers, which is nice to have if you have to do any repairs or replace any parts. So I think that's kind of cool. And these drawings look pretty good, guys. They look pretty decent. I don't have any issues with that, with the smudginess or any weird looking fonts on here as of yet. We have a parts grid on the back here, guys, and it's showing part names, part numbers, all that good stuff. So parts should be available on this. I haven't checked availability on Amazon as of yet, but they should be available either Amazon or at a Chinese website retailer. So it looks pretty good, guys. Everything seems not smudged, seems pretty easy to read. This will be a good one to hang on to. We are getting with this, guys, also a small screwdriver, small Phillips screwdriver, a Allen key, and then 4 extra body pins. So nice to see the body pins. This is coming with a lucky card. I don't know if they're all coming with this, but this particular seller included this, so you can get maybe some free stuff. So I like to see that kind of thing. The transmitter that this one's coming with, guys, is pretty plain Jane, but still gets the point across. Real nice ergonomic feel about it, though it does feel good in the hand. Feels pretty substantial as well. The plastic feels like it's not going to crack or break on you very easily. Again, 2.4 gigahertz radio system, which is pretty much the industry standard now for vehicles of this type. Steering wheel is on the right-hand side, guys. Feels pretty good. There is no foam cover over the wheel itself, but it still feels pretty decent. Nice return spring. On the top here, guys, we have steering dual rate as well as steering trim. You have your power on LED as well as a bind button underneath and your power switch. On the side here, guys, we can see a nice kind of textured grip here, so it's got a really nice feel on this one. The throttle trigger feels pretty good on here, guys. Doesn't feel scratchy. Has a decent return spring. So very nicely done on this. The bottom here, you're going to require 3 AA batteries, which are not included in the kit, so you'll have to supply those on your own. One qualm I have already, guys, is this bottom seems a little bit loose. So I kind of wish in this case they would have put a screw in here to kind of hold that in place. So just keep that in mind. I don't know if they're all like that, but mine is that way. But nicely done on that. All right, guys, taking a look at the car itself. Looks really cool in my opinion. Nice kind of burnt orange color on here, orange and white. You have a Lexan panel in front here, guys, for the windshield. You have a light rack up on top, which are not filled with LEDs, but I suppose you could do that if you wanted to and just wire it directly to the ESC. But nice looking, nice feeling, very solid feeling vehicle, guys, for the money. Again, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but this one was purchased with my own money on Amazon. $29.99 at the time of this recording. Not quite sure what the price is now. I will post a link in the description if you guys want to check this one out going forward. The attention to detail is really good in here. You can see, I don't know if you can or not, but we have a kind of a diamond plate floor on here, textured bucket seats, the steering wheel up in front, nice detail, a roll cage up on top there, guys. We have a fully functioning tire on the back here, so this is a spare that could be used on this car. The bumpers on here, guys, feel nice and spongy, nice and resilient. Bottom here, guys, we can see we have a power on and off switch. On the earlier Subotech vehicles, actually the 2 that I own, the power switch was up on top, inside on the ESC. Kind of difficult to get at, so nice that they put it down there for now. We can see on here, guys, we have a metal drive shaft, but in the front here we have, through the grille, we have headlights that are functioning, so there is wiring and LED cans in there, so kind of cool on that as well. Let's go ahead and pull this body off of here, and we'll take a look at the underside of this and kind of go from there. Now, one complaint I have on this so far, guys, is the location of the body pins in the back here. And I'll go ahead and just zoom this in just a little bit. You can see we have body pins for the back of the body, really tucked in here, kind of close to the side panel and close to the spare. So if you have bigger fingers like I do, you may want to get yourself one of these to get those out. So I'll show you how I go about doing that. Go ahead and pull these back pins out. Crisp. All right. And same thing on the other side here. And then we have just the 2 in the front here, which are easy enough to get at just by hand. Pull those off. Now, keeping in mind, guys, that there is a light kit in here, we want to make sure that we're not ripping this thing off or throwing it aside, because you will damage those wires. So taking the body off, kind of set it off to the side. We'll take a quick look at the Lexan as well, guys. So nice medium thick Lexan on here. It doesn't feel too thin or flimsy and doesn't feel too thick, so I think this is going to be a nice, resilient, rugged piece right here. A little bit of a skeleton in here as well, guys, to add some rigidity to the body, and I like seeing that. Taking a closer look at the underside here, guys, we can see we have an all-in-one ESC receiver right here. Our antenna's up in front. Everything is connected as far as the light kit, as far as the 5-wire servo and power from the battery pack goes directly to the top here and plugs in via these jacks up in front. So nice to see that. There is no direct wiring that you have to unsolder or whatever if you wanted to change something out. Everything's pretty modular. We have a little 180 size brushed motor in here, guys, and a bread anodized kind of heat protector here, so you're not burning yourself if you get your fingers in there. More battery pods on either side. We'll get into that in just a second. The connector for the battery is going to be the standard kind of, I call it a generic 2-pin connector. That can also be changed out by making yourself a little wire harness or a little adapter to use different type of batteries. So let's take a look at the chassis itself, guys. Kind of a rail chassis on here, looks pretty good. Our upper and lower A-arms are pretty stout and feel pretty good. Friction shocks on this one, guys. There are available shocks for this. I believe Low C makes a oil-filled shock for this scale of a vehicle, so you may want to check that out if you choose to do so. I don't think, in my honest opinion, that you really need to, because it seems to be pretty nice. The suspension feels pretty good on this one, not too springy. That kind of coupled with the foam-filled tires on here, I think is going to be a nice off-road vehicle. Now, taking a look at just the construction of this, we can see that we have plastic parts in this one, guys. I'll try to get some better light on this for you. There we go. So we do have some plastic parts on this one. You have plastic dog bones coming off of plastic outdrive cups on the differentials. So all of this is pretty much rendered in plastic, but it's a really nice, resilient kind of nylon reinforced plastic, I believe is what they're calling this. So nicely done on that. A lot of vehicles nowadays are using the lithium ion, a little bit safer to store, safer to charge, and pretty inexpensive as well. So the connector, again, as I mentioned, just the standard kind of two-pronged generic connector on here. And the battery pods, you have two of, one on either side. Flipping this around to this side here, guys, and using some care not to pull these wires out, you can see another battery pod. Why I like this is you can actually get two of these packs, install both of them in there, connect one, and once you run out of juice on that, you can go ahead and connect the other one on the fly and just kind of keep going from there. So kind of cool idea there. We'll set that aside for the time being. Now what I want to do next, guys, is go ahead and do a quick bench test on this, kind of give you guys an idea how that steering works, and you can hear the thing running, and I'll show you the throttle response and all that good stuff. So stay tuned for that, coming right up. All right, guys, the batteries are all charged up inside the car, and we have batteries installed in the transmitter. Now, per instructions in the manual, it says to turn on the power on the car first. We'll go ahead and do that on the bottom here and flip that switch to on. You can see in the front here, guys, that we have flashing LEDs, which is basically just saying that they definitely have power to the ESC, and it is searching right now for a signal from the transmitter. Very basic to do this, guys. The first time you start this thing up, when you get it out of the box, you're going to have to press and hold that bind button while you're turning the power switch to the on position. So we'll do that again just for demonstration purposes. You press and hold the bind button and then hit the power. The servo is active now, and the car is bound to the transmitter. Taking a look at the steering, we can go ahead and just do that real quick. You can see nice responsive steering. This is fully proportional steering, guys, so it's not all or nothing. We do have a steering dual rate on here, guys, so you can dial that back, so the arc of the steering is going to be less. I've heard some complaints on these vehicles that with the steering rate turned all the way up, you're going to run the risk of tumbling this thing or flipping it. So if you want to avoid that, or for new drivers, you can actually back that off to a more kind of middle of the road position, and kind of eliminate some of that flipping. But we have steering trim on here as well, guys, so you can set the steering trim. Everything is digital coming from the transmitter, so nicely done on that. Let's go ahead and get this thing powered up. We'll give it some juice, and I'll show you guys what this thing sounds like, and we can take a look at the responsiveness of the transmitter as well. So go ahead and start this off slow. And we'll speed it up a little bit. Full throttle. Go ahead and back that back off. So I think, guys, for the money that I spent on this thing, it's a great product. Even if you spend a little bit more, I think you're getting a nicely built product. I don't know if I mentioned before, but the Subotech vehicles that I own right now are still in service. and they've been serving me well thus far. Haven't had to replace any parts on any of these vehicles. They're just really nicely made vehicles. Now, when I bought these, they were a bit more expensive. I think I paid probably about $40 or $45 a piece for them, and they were purchased on Amazon as well. But I think this is a good testament to the quality of this vehicle. We're going to be doing a off-road run on this, as well as some paved runs on this new Subotech here, and I'll post that video up in a couple of days. It's been a little slow going around here, guys. I got some health issues going on, nothing too serious, but still kind of slows me down a bit. I apologize for not having more content out quicker, but I'm going to try to work on that real hard to make sure you guys are getting all the content that you want to see. So with that being said, guys, if you haven't already subscribed, I really appreciate you considering subscribing to my channel. That really helps offset some of the cost of purchasing these vehicles and bringing you these videos. That's pretty much it, guys. I really appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for stopping by the channel. We'll see you all real soon in the next one, and God bless the Republic.